Something you said years ago is still bangs around in my head.
Really?
Mm-hmm. We were at a party.
Okay.
A New Year's Eve party at the Seinfelds.
Yes.
And remember this? And
I don't. I remember the party.
And it was getting late. And then they started dancing, and you said to me, "Tom, do you dance?" And I said, "I don't know." You said, "You look like you've never danced before."
And you know what? I would say the same thing. If we went to a party tomorrow, I would ask you the same two questions.
It's breaking bread. Hey, everybody. A great way to support the podcast and all of the crazy stuff we do around here is to join us at Patreon, patreon.com. Look up Breaking Bread with Tom Papa, and you will have access to hanging with us when everything is over at our after show. You'll also get bonus episodes, stuff from the road, lots of cool stuff. Go over to patreon.com. We think you should join up because then we can talk more when all of this is over. Are you ready to bring all your favorite carbs right to your doorstep? Be sure to check out Wildgrain so you can begin building your own box of artisanal breads, pastas, and pastries. For a limited time, Wildgrain is offering our listeners $30 off your first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/papa to start your subscription. You heard me right, kids. Free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/papa. That's wildgrain.com/papa, P-A-P-A, or just use the promo code PAPA at checkout. You'll figure it out, and then you'll have great breads and pastas in your freezer. We'd also like to thank the good people at tompapa.com. We have summer shows. You know, a lot of comedians, I just learned, take off for the summer. I didn't know that was an option. I didn't know that. I thought that was just teachers. But apparently some comedians take off. But I will be going to Ohio. I'll be going to Cincinnati. And what was the other one with an M on it? Marietta? What? Marietta. Is that true? Marietta, Ohio. And I'm going to Kansas City, and I'm going to Santa Fe, and then I'm going to, what's the place in Maryland where they eat all the crabs? Ocean City, Maryland, and then I'm going to San Diego at Humphreys, this legendary outdoor place. So we got a bunch of summer shows. Casino Ballroom in Northampton or Hampton Beach in New Hampshire. You'll go to tompapa.com and hopefully answer all the stuff. But I will be out there this summer. So thank you to the good people at tompapa.com. I baked you this bread.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Just a minute ago. You can feel it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's hot.
It is hot.
Yeah.
You eat bread, right?
I do eat bread.
All right, good.
Yeah.
One of my biggest bombs ever was at a animal rights event that you asked me to perform at.
I forgot about that one. What happened? Was it at the theater?
No, it was in a ballroom kind of environment.
Oh, really?
We did one at the Laugh Factory. I think Jay was on it, and it was for the same group, and it went really well, but that was small. And then you're like, can you come do the bigger one?
Right.
That we're having this big fundraiser, and I said sure. And I had a joke at the time. I forget what the joke was.
Yeah.
Something about animals. But it wasn't, and they started booing from the back.
Oh, my God.
And I couldn't get out of it. And, everyone up front was kind of nice. And it was this rookie mistake that you make sometimes as a comic. It's so humiliating to even recount it because it's such a gross way for a comedian to try and get out of trouble.
Yeah.
When you're bombing and then you start telling them why you're good. You're like, I've been on the Conan and I've been on the Tonight Show. And
I'm doing a favor for Carol Leifer.
And they're just like, yeah, but you're not being funny. But I couldn't be funny because these people, they just heard a trigger word.
Yes, and they're very sensitive. I love my animal people.
Yeah.
But it's tiptoe very lightly.
Yeah. And the worst part about it was Ed Begley Jr., was in the front row.
Yeah, big animal person.
Yeah, and I was looking for help from other performers, and he was just like,
"Oh wow!"
And
got the shrug.
Fred Willard, right?
Yeah.
And it was a bomb. It was at a country club. That's what I'm remembering the walk with my
Okay.
wife back to the car.
Wow.
It was a long walk.
And hoping that a golf ball would hit you in the head and you would just pass out.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was rough.
Wow. Well, my apologies this many years later.
It's no apology needed. You know, you go into those and then you get beat up and, right? I mean,
Yeah.
how many times have you
How many times have we been beat up?
beaten up?
Yes. You know what? It actually reminds me of a theory about comedians. I feel like comedians are very good in emergency situations. And I'll tell you why, Tom. Because our life as a comedian is very dangerous. You know that feeling like you're about to go on and the stage manager comes over to you and goes, oh, just so you know, there's an 8-foot drop just 6 feet in front of the mic, but good luck. You know, and you go out there and,
Okay.
we have to gather ourselves right
Yeah.
away in a lot of situations.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And as many times as many of those that you've collected,
Yeah.
there's always a new one. They
Always a new one
they
pops up.
You're
Yeah.
like, I've been through all of these.
Right. And then recently I did a corporate and, no children. Like that's the rule. Then I go to do the corporate. There's children running around. And then no agent, no manager there. It's like, well, I guess I'm performing for adults and children. It's constant.
I just had the same one, and it was a fundraiser for like a cancer thing, and I happy to do it.
Yeah.
And some other comics were there. They weren't on the bill, but they were around, and they had done it before. And kids in the front row in little suits and ties, like from 6 to like 11.
The
And
worst.
they start heckling.
What?
They started heckling.
How dare these rugrats?
The one kid starts yelling. This one kid starts yelling, "We're not all the same." I'm like, "I'm sorry, what? You said you were all the same, but we're not. I'm different from you." And I tried to like maneuver it in.
Right.
And then the youngest one walks up to the stage. You know, it's like banquets.
Yeah.
Like table. He walks up to the stage. He's got his tie askew. His suit's kind of off. He looks like a drunk, and he just starts going like this, two thumbs down at the edge of the stage, go with this look on his face, like, "What are you gonna do now?"
Oh my God!
It
Right?
ruined the whole
Yes.
last quarter of the set.
And everybody in the audience, oh, isn't Billy cute?
Yeah, the parents were
Isn't
there.
he funny? Oh,
And
the
it's
worst.
it's a disease charity, and I don't know who survived or what's
Yeah,
why.
or if was
I
it
don't.
childhood cancer?
I don't know.
That would
I
be
can't
terrible.
ask. I can't attack. I have to just go. Yeah, you're right, kid. I get the double thumbs down. Good night, everybody.
And people don't realize because they think when you're at this stage of stand-up, you're coasting. Everything is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just a joy to get out there. Constant obstacles, constant.
It is amazing, isn't it? Like
Yes.
when you go to that corporate gig, you're not relaxed when you
No.
know you have, because
No.
it's not like going to a club. You're going into an environment you don't know their culture
Yes.
and what they're going to throw at you.
Right.
So-
And then all you're thinking about is, why didn't my agent, when he booked this, reaffirm no children? It's so obvious. You can't concentrate on your jokes.
Why do you not want children there? Because of you're inappropriate and filthy now, or because you just
Well, For what happened to you.
Right.
They're unruly. They're uncensored.
Yeah.
They think it's their playground.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
It is a problem. It's so crazy.
I just had a recent experience. You ever perform at Wolf Trap? They have a beautiful theater
Oh yeah,
there,
that is
right?
amazing. One of the best in the country.
Amazing.
An outdoor.
Oh, this was the indoor theater.
Oh, this is indoor.
Yeah. Perfect setup, Tom. 350 people, theater seating.
nice.
People have subscription. They sell it out
Yeah.
without the names of the people. Perfect situation. I go on stage. The wife of the promoter is sitting there. I also have a thing about no relatives backstage, no friends. It just should be the comedians and the staff. That's
Yeah.
all you want. We're in
Yeah.
our bubble. We don't want people, oh, hi, I'm so. She started eating a bag of pirate's booty on the side of the stage. I don't know why this is the loudest snack or the bag they come in. It was so distracting to me. I had to say to the owners, excuse me, 1 second. And I went off stage and I said, would you please stop eating that bag of pirates? Because it was completely distracting me.
It is an incredibly loud bag.
Yes.
I know from having my kids.
Really?
That bag there's something wrong with it.
See?
Yeah.
Someone who's anti-comedian was on the team that made that bag. Yeah, we have it. It's constant.
It's constant.
Yeah.
It never stops. I remember seeing Bob Newhart in a interview like on Larry King or maybe even Tom Snyder. It was like long time ago. Like I was just starting. And I remember him talking about how it doesn't matter. He's been doing it for 50 years. Every single night you could bomb. And the interviewer was like, oh, no. But and no, Bob was like, no, seriously.
Yes.
I can go down in flames at any moment. I was like, oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, and especially, with corporates,
Yeah.
because it's a sea that you have not navigated and nobody has pre-selected it. You're just going into some den of unknowns.
Yeah, and it's a bunch of people that are there because of work. They
Yes.
made them go.
Right.
They didn't say, there's no requirement that they like comedy.
Yeah.
And half the people are facing the other way. But man, when they go well,
Yes.
what a dream.
What a dream. And that's the beauty of them paying so well.
Right, exactly. I wonder if they think that in their business meetings. They're like, we have to pay them a lot because we may witness the death of somebody.
Oh, you know what? I have a story. Once I did a corporate that went so bad. They just were not having it.
Yeah.
It was horrible. And then I went into the ladies' room. And I was in my stall. And I heard two women talking by the sink.
Oh, no.
And one of them said, and somebody very good they can't afford. So I waited in that stall. I don't know how long, waiting until I knew those women were out because I was so humiliated. And I knew maybe I should have gone out because they'd be terribly embarrassed.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Exactly. Who are you talking about?
I was the only performer. Were you talking about me?
How long were you doing stand-up before the first writing gig? That was SNL?
Yeah. So I was doing it for 8 years.
8 years. So you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was not, I was unsure about doing it. Because
Stand-up still?
No, I was unsure about the gig.
Oh, okay.
But my father, I really credit him with setting me straight. When I got the offer and I was like, I still really like doing stand-up. I don't know. My father was like, Carol, you got to diversify with any profession. You got to take this job. So I did.
What did he do?
He was an optometrist.
Oh, yeah?
And, of course, joke of my act, his name was Seymour.
That's amazing.
And I have to always say after, none of you are above that joke. Bah, bah, bah. But
Were you funny as a kid? Did he think you were funny?
Well, he was very funny. My father dreamed of being a comedian or a comedy writer, but he was joke-o-matic. He knew every joke out there.
Right.
It was literally like, give me a subject, I got the joke on it.
Right.
And more importantly, as comics, he told jokes really well. I've yet to meet a pro that told a joke better than my dad did.
It's a different skill.
Yeah. And
I'm horrible at those jokes.
Are you?
Yeah, like regular
I'm surprised.
street joke. I'm not good. They die on the vine. Like I'll get away with it a couple times.
Yeah.
And then like the fourth time, it falls apart. Leno's great at it.
Leno, yes.
He has a lot of them.
He does.
And he can do it.
He can.
I can't do it.
He's a very good joke teller. So I watched my dad tell jokes, and it was, I just admired him so much because, he got the attention of people, or if he wasn't really clicking with people and he started telling jokes, he was the king of the party, you know?
Yeah.
And with the family, he was a star that way. So I was like, this is a pretty good profession to get into. And he was so thrilled.
But were you naturally funny when you were a kid?
I remember getting laughs
Yeah.
when I would do something silly or stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I always had a lot of confidence in being funny ever since
Yeah.
I was a kid. I don't know if you felt the same
Yeah.
way, but it didn't feel like math,
Right.
or geography. I'm not,
Yeah.
You just have a certain confidence in being able to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Or else you also wouldn't go into it because,
No.
the humiliation and the hardness, the difficulty of the beginning years where you have to bomb constantly to get good.
Yeah.
You really have to have a belief in yourself and your sense of humor that you can do this.
Yeah. It's almost delusional.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, there's it's a really interesting thing when you have that wake up call when you start doing it in clubs, as you realize, oh wait, no, I am funny. There is that natural thing. I believe in that, but there's a whole skill here I have to learn
Yes.
to be funny consistently.
Right. I'm always interested. What was your first open mic night?
It was a bringer show where you brought people.
Oh, God, yeah.
You had to bring 4 people to sit in the audience,
Right.
and if they bought drinks, you got on stage.
Yeah.
And I came in, it was like at 5 in the summer, June 12th, 1993.
Oh, wow. Where?
New York Comedy Club.
Where was that?
That was on the east side at the
Oh,
time,
okay.
above a cowboy bar, a Western bar.
Of course.
And I climbed up the steps. I had my friends come and sit, and I was there. Gary Greenberg was the host, from Kimmel.
Okay.
And,
Oh, yeah.
And Greg Giraldo was the other comic waiting to go on, and then me, and that was it. And they had no friends, so the audience was just my friends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you did well your first time?
I did okay. Mm-hmm. I did okay. The biggest win was that, like, a joke that I had written worked. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a structure of a joke
Right.
delivered worked. And then I was just kind of like silly and playing with them and doing stupid things. But the high of, no, I wrote that and it worked.
Uh-huh. Do you remember what the joke was?
Yeah. It was they just came out with a law that kids they're going to give out condoms in schools. They're going to give out condoms in schools. When I was in 3rd grade, I needed 3 notes and a blood test just to get a ride on the bookmobile.
There you go.
Right?
Right. And it's a well-written joke.
Had structure.
Yeah, it's great setup.
Yeah, it was there. It was
Yeah.
topical.
Uh-huh.
Very edgy. And but that was, what about you?
My first 5 minutes, I did great. I went to Catch a Rising Star with Paul Reiser. I always like to explain to people that when it is an open mic and the audience knows that, the bar is low.
Yeah.
So if you're okay, they're very generous that way. But I had a joke in my first 5 minutes that I did for a long time.
Yeah.
Which was the Trident gum commercial.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 dentists surveyed recommend sugarless gum for their patients who chew gum. Who's this 5th guy? And what's he recommend? Rock candy and jujubes? But of course, the age of that joke. Who knows rock candy now? And for that matter, who knows what a jujube is? But at the time, it was very... It was very current with the candies.
Yeah, my father likes juicy fruits.
I love
which is a
juicy fruits.
jujube cousin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not juicy fruits, jujubes.
Yeah,
Yes.
jujubes.
I remember that.
And he just had his birthday at it, and they all my sister gave everybody a box of juicy fruits,
Oh.
and everybody was like, "Be careful, they're gonna rip your teeth out."
Yeah, I'm a real candy fanatic. They're so good, though.
Yeah, they are really good.
Yeah.
My father's trick is that they're hard. Yeah, they're hard, but while you're eating them, you have your next round in your hand, and it kind of warms them up and softens them.
I'm going to remember that tip. That's pretty good.
That's a good one.
That's
right?
pretty good. Yeah, I love candy. What candy is my favorite candy? Fifth Avenue bar.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's another
That's
old
an
candy.
underdog.
Yeah, but I'm sure when they invented it was like, Fifth Avenue. Oh, that's very
Classy.
Yeah, let's do that. Park Avenue, maybe? No, Fifth Avenue.
Did you see this new one, the $100,000 bar? Who the hell do they think they are?
Bastards.
We have so much to talk about, but
Yes.
Congratulations on the book.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was excited to see this title of this book
Oh, good.
because I get asked. I've done 5 weddings as the officiant, and there is a real art to this that nobody really talks about. How to write a funny speech for a wedding, bar mitzvah, graduation, and every other event you didn't want to go to in the first place. It is kind of great when you're asked to give the speech at a thing like you don't want to go to because you get to do a set.
Right. Yeah. Well, comedians are always chomping at the bit to do a speech because stand-up is like a speech.
Yeah.
And so we're good at it.
Yeah.
But Rick Mitchell, who I wrote this with, another comic, it was during the strike, writer's strike, and we had both coincidentally been to events where people gave horrible speeches.
Right.
And we just sat there, and said, it's not that hard to write a good speech. We could really walk people through step by step. And so not only will they do a good speech, but they won't be as anxious about it because people are usually so nervous and don't want to go to the event because they have to give a speech.
Right.
So that was the impetus for it.
That's good.
Yeah. And it's sold out now on Amazon, which is great.
Sold out?
Yes. So people have to go to
congratulations.
barnesandnoble.com to
Oh,
buy
okay.
it.
I was going to say, because we could tell people not to buy it.
No, you don't want
try.
to do that.
What's like one of the best secrets you have about, what's a thing that
It's
you
a
would
101
let people
thing.
know that,
That you will know, but most people don't
Yeah.
know. Keep it 5 minutes and under.
Yes. What a great thing that
When
is.
people drone on, and also they don't realize you're usually not the only person they've asked to give a speech.
Right.
So then it's a parade of drone-a-thons where people go on, and you haven't eaten, and they won't serve the food until the speeches are over. And,
There's nothing worse than watching someone drone on and then you see them put the page underneath
Another
and you see
page.
there's 4 more and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, no, that's a killer.
There's a real disconnect though. There's like, I don't know if people just know that instinctively.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah.
don't. Because most people think, wow, I've been asked, to give a speech to these people. I have to show my love so that, more is more. It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it didn't take off as an expression. Less is more.
Right. The getting a laugh in a serious moment, like a wedding, like I do these weddings.
Yeah.
And I really take the time, and because this is big. Like the first time someone walked up, I was like, oh, this is real. This isn't me just doing. So you want to be heartfelt, and you want to be kind, and you don't want to mock what's happening, and you want it to be special.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little gravity to the situation. There's nothing better than the laugh that comes in that setting that you've created.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because it doesn't have to, it's such a relief.
And you're expressing a lot of times something that people want to express but can't.
Mm-hmm.
And also, of course, in saying we want you to write a funny speech, there are ways of doing it without offending someone.
Right.
And we walk people through that step. But common things about this person and everybody else does about this couple, is a great fodder for humor because people also want to laugh at the officiant, or the celebrant or the couple you're celebrating.
Yeah. What's your favorite speech to give? In what proper environment?
Believe it or not, Tom, I really like speaking at celebrations of life.
Mm-hmm.
Because other than other speeches, it feels really cathartic for me to get across what I'm feeling about this person. And delivering it to people in a community that love this person feels so good. But also, like we talk about in the book, you can also be funny in those celebrations of life. And it's great because of having all the people there. Like, for example, I spoke at my cousin Jay's celebration of life. He sadly passed away at 55 of cancer.
Oh, wow.
But he was an amazing people person. Wherever he went, social butterfly. And everybody knew this about him.
Yeah.
So I told this story about how we had gone to see with him and his wife, my wife Lori and I, the Beach Boys. And we were invited to the after party. And I kept saying to Jay and everybody else, I want to see Mike Love. I want to go over to him because I opened for them at Harrah's, Lake Tahoe, 1,000,000 years ago. And I just want to say hi again and see if he remembers me.
Yeah.
So we go to a little after party. And I'm trying to make my way over to Mike Love. You know, and when you see an opportunity, no, somebody else walked in. Another opportunity.
Yeah.
So I go to the bar to get a drink. I turn around. My cousin Jay is talking with Mike Love like they've been friends for 30 years, laughing, talking, to the point where I walk over and Jay goes, hey, Mike, do you know my cousin Carol? She opened for you 1,000,000 years ago at Harrah's in Tahoe. That was the kind of person he was. And when I told that story, everybody laughed.
Yeah.
And you think so, you look back on that person and their essence.
Yeah, yeah. I had to give one of those when my aunt had died, and I was young. I was probably 17 or something.
Oh, wow. That's young, too.
Yeah,
Speak.
but we didn't have a lot of speakers in the family, so I did it. And I did well, but then tried to put a message at the end of it. And no one needs a message from a 17-year-old about living every day to your, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but it was a real lesson of like, don't tell them don't impart on them what you're trying to say. Just say it.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, it's just reminiscing usually about them.
Yeah,
And
it's
having
enough.
funny stories. Like I know someone who spoke about his mom at a celebration of life, and he just told this story about how when he was growing up, one day she was going to the supermarket, and she said to him, "What do you want?" And he said, "I'd like some shredded wheat." And she came back home, and she had 3 different boxes of shredded wheat. And she said, I didn't know which type you liked. You know, so it's a cute story, but it also says what kind of person she was.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's, you know, it's good for the heart. But
Yeah.
something we do say in the book is to always wrap it up with something. You don't want to be, Henny Youngman at the end of a speech.
It's not about you getting a laugh.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to wrap it up with something sincere. And
Right.
just even when you say, let's raise a glass to whoever, that's a good way to wrap it up, you know, put a bow on the speech. But also what I found very weird is people, when they give a speech, you know, here's to Mindy and Seth. And then they walk back to their seat. It's like, go over to Mindy and Seth and hug them,
Right.
kiss them, whatever. Just acknowledge who you've just spoken about.
Yeah. Here's a question. I've been trying to solve this one.
Okay.
It's kind of adjacent to what you're talking about. But you see movies, you see families that know how to behave. Someone stands up to give a toast, and those, a toast. And I always want to be the guy in the movie who says the witty thing and gives a little speech and says the thing, and then we click glasses. My family, as soon as you go, I'd like to make a toast. Cling, 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 cling.
Oh, yeah.
And they all start drinking.
Right. That's interesting.
How do I slow these animals down?
Right. I think that's a good thing you say. I have a bit more to say, but let's raise our glasses. That's different than a toast. I think toast signals clink, clink.
Right, right. Yeah, maybe not even like bring it out. Just start.
Yeah.
You can start talking without my glass.
Well, or maybe say the thing you wanted to say first, and then at the end, let's raise a glass, and then they'll do it.
Right. What was your best writing job? What was the most fun? Just pure fun. I know you're winning awards now. How many awards do you have?
You know what? I just won my first Emmy.
That was your first?
Yeah, for working on Hacks.
Wow.
Yeah. And I won a Golden
Globe
too, which was fantastic.
So I got those two beauties next to each other. Where do you put them?
Well, they start to get in fights.
Oh, geez.
Competitive, so I have to separate them. No, you know what's so funny? The Golden Globe, I have on a beautiful shelf, way high, so that our 90-pound dog can't get to it.
Yeah.
But it started to peel the bottom. So I got in touch with them just to kind of find out how I would fix it. And they're like, no. We'll come and pick it up, and we will go back to our Golden Globes workshop and repair it. The guy just came today.
Really?
Is that like white glove service?
That's amazing.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
That had
really
to feel
been nice.
good.
Yeah, because people kindly thought I had won an Emmy before. No, I
Yeah.
hadn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would have to say my favorite writing job, and you're not going to be surprised, was Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Because for a million reasons. But the biggest being, when you work on a hit show, it's different now because streaming and all that. But when we did Seinfeld, it was the water cooler show. And I have to explain that expression to my son now. But it was Thursday nights, these giant ratings.
Yeah.
And the next day, everybody saw it. I mean, the Marble Rye is one of my episodes.
Yeah. So great.
And the next day, writers, we went to lunch at Brent's Deli in Northridge. And we walk in, there's a big banner already across the door. We have the famous Marble Rye from Seinfeld. So not
The
only
impact,
that,
yeah.
but not surprisingly, Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David at the head of the show,
Yeah.
they set a tone that was so relaxed and good and equal, as nice to a grip as they were to a suit from Castle Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And that bled down to everybody else.
Right.
And something that I also really admire about them, because I see it a lot now in other shows, is, I don't know if you ever read Bernie Brillstein's book. He had a great book about
No.
show business. And one of his things was, it's tough to give bad news, but you have to learn how to give bad news. So, like, when someone wouldn't work out at the table read, where we all read the script
Yeah.
beforehand, and a guest actor wasn't that good,
Yeah.
and they needed to fire them, Larry David would either go over to them personally or call them and say, you know what? It's not working out for this entire part, this part specifically, but we'll have you back for something. And it just made such a difference. Nowadays, it's like they get the stage manager or some
Yeah.
assistant to fire the person. And it just, that
Yeah.
old schoolness of show business, I still really appreciate.
It's pretty remarkable because they both were just starting. They had success in other ways, but it was early.
Yeah.
Like for them to be eloquent and thoughtful about that and the work and how to do it and
Yes.
keeping their eye on what was good and all of those things. There's so much actually. It's kind of fascinating, right? When people are learning about all this stuff and knocking it out of the park at the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
And also, what I think was amazing about Larry David, even in those early days of it not being a hit,
Yeah.
which today they wouldn't have given it the time to grow
Yeah.
in the TV world, but he always stuck to his sensibility and his commitment to his comedy. Like, you started way after me, but he was a comic when I was a comic. He was a few more years in than me, but I remember he worked at the Improv, I worked at the Improv. If you had an 8:40 spot at night and he had the 8:20 spot, you came in at 8:15 because he could walk off at any moment if someone was in the audience looking a certain way or they didn't get certain jokes. He would go, that's it, and he would just walk off. And I wasn't there then during this Seinfeld episode, but I've heard this story that when they wanted to do the Chinese restaurant episode where it takes place all in a Chinese restaurant, the suits were like, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You can't do a show that's in one set in a Chinese restaurant the whole show. And Larry David stuck to his guns. He was always like, well, that's what we're going to do.
Right.
So it's the beauty of having the confidence in your own vision that he's always had.
That's remarkable.
Yeah. I admire that a lot.
Yeah, because you get so swayed by all these forces.
Yeah, and forces that many times you really have to buckle under. You really don't have a choice.
Did it help that there was two of them? That they had
Yes.
each other?
Yes, absolutely. I always align their sensibilities. To me, it's like Lennon and McCartney. Mm-hmm. You know, Jerry was like the McCartney, and Larry David more like John Lennon.
Right.
And the mixture of it made it really dynamite.
Right.
But they were an amazing team. It wasn't
Yeah.
like Jerry was a star and Larry worked for him. You know, even in their office, their desks were up against each other.
Facing each other?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And you would pitch to both of them story ideas.
Uh-huh.
That was intimidating, but, you know, they were
Yeah.
both there. And
Wait, tell me about that, about it being intimidating, because you guys knocked around in New York together, you're friends.
yeah.
But
Well,
now,
it's different
it's a
when-
different role,
Yes,
right?
you're
Now all of a
working
sudden,
for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's tricky because
Yeah.
when you're friends and you work together, it can really go awry
Yeah.
or it can get better, which I'm
Right.
happy that the friendship got even better with both of them.
Right. And that was that a big part of your attitude, I'm sure, of like, you're not expecting something because you're a friend. You're there to
Yes.
do a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just another writer on the show.
Yeah.
It was intimidating because at Seinfeld, it was all about the ideas.
Yeah.
If you had a great idea, you were part of the stable and you knew that your job security was intact.
Yeah.
So when you would go in, if you just pitched a lot of stuff and it wasn't working and it was like, I don't know, come
Yeah.
back with some more ideas, you would get worried that I got to come up with more stuff
Yeah.
because that's the blood that drives the show.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because there are writers who are great at the ideas, the original ideas.
Yeah.
And there are writers who are great at the jokes
Yeah.
to build up the structure for those ideas.
Uh-huh.
Which are you? Did you have which would you in your is there one that you're better at, or are they pretty equal?
Well, I like to think, as a comic, I love writing dialogue and jokes.
Right.
But I really feel like I have a sense. I had a lot of pitches that got in, and so
Yeah.
what was nice then I worked for Larry on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I really knew his style of what he liked
Right.
and what he didn't respond to. So I feel like that always gave me a leg up there, and it was always a quirky, weird idea.
Uh-huh.
Like if it was some kind of phrase he didn't like, like I told him, I hate when you go to pitch to Suits, you know, an idea for a TV show, and they go, you know what, I don't love it. You know, it was like, and then he always takes things further than that, where you want to say, so you don't like it. Nah, I don't love it. You know, so something like that, or just ideas that he incorporated, like when I had an Audi
Yeah.
in the Valley.
Belly button.
I would go to the service center,
Uh-huh.
and they had it decked out, you know, with a coffee machine and these nothing bunt cakes. Do you know them?
Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'd have a coffee and I'd have a cake. Then I kind of found myself when I was in the Valley and I passed the service center, I'd go in and go, you know, guys, I'm hearing a ping, something that you could maybe check out. And then I'd have a coffee and a nothing bun cake. I knew that that was something that he would respond to.
Right, right.
And he changed it to licorice, but it was something that I knew. I mean, I just even had lunch with him recently, and I said, you know, I get frustrated now because I think of curb ideas that I really have a good feeling you're going to like, and we have no show to pitch. And I told him one of the ideas, like I have a lot of change at home.
Yeah.
And I took it to my bank, and they're like, nah, "Sister, no way. You know, we don't deal with change anymore." But I can't just get rid of it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I've put it not in my back seat, like on the floor of the back seat,
Yeah.
hoping that when I get a
Right.
car wash, somebody's going to take it. I'm putting the bait out there, guys. Come on. And, he said, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a great
Yeah.
curb idea. So it made me
Yeah.
just feel good
Well,
that
what a cool relationship, right? To
Yeah.
go from that did anyone else go that? Well, I guess Berg.
John Heyman
Right.
was there, but he was the only other Seinfeld writer.
Alec Berg, was he?
Oh, Jeff
Right.
Schaefer,
Yeah.
who was his EP,
Right.
executive producer.
Yeah.
He ran the
With
show.
just a handful of you.
Yes.
That did the whole ride.
Yeah.
That's
well, I
amazing.
wasn't there for the whole ride. I was just there for the last 3 seasons.
Okay.
But boy, that was another
Yeah.
fun job.
Yeah.
Really
God.
fun.
So great. Who doesn't love coffee? Don't raise your hand because we will stop being friends. I love coffee. It is one of my favorite things in the world. And Trade Coffee does a great job of bringing me coffee from around the country, places that I never even heard of before. You go in, you tell them what you like, and then you get this beautiful bag. I go for beans, whole beans, because I grind them, and then I put them in my pour over because my wife goes off to school early in the morning, and I'm just making cups for me. So you get this great bean. I grind them and put them in, and it's a treat because you don't know really what you're getting. You're exploring something new, and you find this cool package with this cool coffee bean. So the minute you open it up, you're starting an experience that you wouldn't be able to have if you were just buying stuff from the supermarket. They're really fantastic. They're the #1 U.S. coffee destination, bringing you fresh coffee from all 50 of the country's top roasters. Trade experts have taste tested thousands of coffees to curate. Why can't I get that job? Why can't I be a coffee taste tester? That would be cool. They curate over 450 amazing roasts. Whether you're new to coffee or you know your favorites, they'll handpick the perfect coffee just for you, even cold brew for those hot summer days. So you take the quiz, and under a minute, they match you with your perfect coffee, and the first bag isn't right. Trade will replace it for free until they nail it, and you have a great relationship with new coffee. And if you're headed on summer vacation with Trade subscription flexibility, you can pause or shift delivery while you're away. Oh, that's nice. I go down to the Jersey Shore, and I'm not going for months, and I'm literally thinking, what am I going to do about my coffee? Wouldn't that be cool? Make Trade Coffee, send it down there? That'd be fun. Right now, Trade is exclusively offering our listeners 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/papa. That's drinktrade, TRADE.com/papa for 50% off your 1-month trial. drinktrade.com/papa. Oh, they're so good. I love coffee. I know I've said this before, but I like saying it because I think other coffee people know what I'm talking about. How happy is bedtime knowing that you're going to close your eyes and when you wake up, it's going to be coffee time again? drinktrade.com/papa. This episode of Breaking Bread with Tom Papa is brought to you by Wildgrain, the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Wildgrain's boxes are fully customizable to your taste and dietary restrictions. In addition to their classic variety box, they recently launched a new gluten-free box and a plant-based box that is 100% vegan. Joe will be so happy. Best of all, they take the hassle out of baking since all the items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less with no mess or cleanup. And that really is the key. You really want great breads and you want great pastas and pastries and stuff, cookies, that kind of thing. But a lot of times you don't have it in your schedule. You don't have the time to figure out when you're going to bake this stuff. And a lot of times the idea comes when you're like, let's make pasta tonight. And you have the pasta, say, but you need the bread. Or you have the bread and you need the pasta. Or maybe you don't have either. You go into the freezer, start up your oven, go into the freezer, grab it, throw it in. And it's not like you're just getting some mediocre bread from the supermarket heated up. This is really quality bread. and pastas and pastries. And you legit, in 25 minutes, go from frozen to this great addition to your meal. They're fantastic. They're really good. You got to go check them out. Are you ready to bring all your favorite carbs right to your doorstep? Be sure to check out Wildgrain so you can build your own box of breads, pastas, and pastries. And for a limited time, Wildgrain is offering our listeners $30 off the first box, plus free croissants. Sometimes I say croissants, but I don't want people to think we're arrogant. Croissants. You heard me. Free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/Papa, or just use the promo code PAPA, P-A-P-A, at checkout. Great company you're going to enjoy. This episode is also brought to you by IQBAR, our exclusive snack and hydration sponsor. Very excited to announce they've teamed up with Thomas Keller, a Michelin star chef of the French Laundry, on 2 special edition products, a salted caramel chip protein bar and yuzu mango hydration mix. Ooh, that's very exciting. French Laundry, that's hard to get into. Now you can just get a bar and close your eyes on the plane and think you're there. This collaboration grew out of Chef Keller's daily regimen of IQBAR products and combines IQBAR's nutritional excellence with Keller's culinary expertise. IQBAR's plant protein bars are packed with clean, delicious ingredients that keep you physically and mentally fit. That's what's cool about them. I threw them in my bag when I was going out on tour. And you're in a jam, and you're in between meals, and you eat something that's going to satisfy you, calm you down, and then they've got stuff for your brain boosting nutrients like lion's mane, adaptogen. I don't know what that is, but if it makes me smarter, I'm all in. They have a new salted caramel chip IQBAR. What am I holding now? Toasted coconut chip, banana nut, and a peanut butter chip. Yeah, I'm going to take that one. The Yuzu Mango IQ mix. They also have these mixes for, you throw them in your water bottle, and you go from zero hydration mix, a refreshing zero sugar hydration mix that marries bold flavor, essential electrolytes for your body. That's good when I come out of the sauna. And lion's mane plus magnesium for your brain. Just mix it with water. Michelin star taste and next level hydration. 10% of the sales go to Chef Keller's nonprofit, Mentor, which supports the next generation of aspiring U.S. chefs. IQBAR is free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial sweeteners. Very cool. I'm telling you, I love having bars in my bag when I'm on the road. It's just it's either that, you reach in there and you get something that's good for your brain and good for your body, or you go into a stupid Hudson News and you grab a thing of Cheez-Its and a Snickers bar and you feel like garbage before you even get on the plane. I like these guys. And right now, IQBAR is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off IQBAR products, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text PAPA to 64,000. Text PAPA to 64,000. That's PAPA to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. That's PAPA to 64,000. And sign up and grab some of these products. I'm telling you, they're good to have. Put them in your car, put them in your bag, put them in your pantry, and you'll be smarter and healthier and happier. IQBAR. Thank you for coming on board Breaking Bread. Can I ask you a question?
What has this been about?
Well, this was about you. and this is about you, but in a different way.
Okay.
Just things that maybe I would like to get your take on.
Okay.
You're a funny person. You look at the world differently. What ethnic group do you see and think, I wish I could have tried that?
And I'm not just saying that because I'm here, Tom, but I really would have loved, I love being Jewish, but I really would have loved being Italian.
Yeah.
Because my best friend from growing up was Italian, and a lot like Jews.
Very close.
Yeah.
Mine's Jewish. Like, I grew up Italian,
Oh,
but
yeah.
all my Jewish friends and
Wow.
families, it was like, I do well with them.
Yeah. And I did growing up because Sundays
Yeah.
at 2:00, they'd have the big,
Yep.
we call it Sunday dinner,
Yep.
even though it was at 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I just loved the banter and
Yeah.
the love between everyone, the food, the focus on
Yeah.
food. That's very much with the
Yeah.
two ethnic groups. I just, I would have liked, and even too, I like when my Italian friends have expressions or nicknames for people like Jewish people have. Like there's a movie out now, Nonos.
Nona's, yeah.
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 But and it's my favorite food.
Yeah,
Italian
it's really good food.
It's so good.
I know. What's your favorite? If you go to an Italian restaurant, do you have a go-to?
I do. And I usually take John Heyman because he lives close by. There's a restaurant called Vito's in Santa Monica, and they have this dish. Look, it's called spaghetti alla casa. I mean, they're not going to name it about their home unless it's great.
This isn't related to Vito's Pizzeria.
No,
Okay.
no, it's its own thing.
Okay.
It's spaghetti with the most delicate shrimp, but it's in a cognac sauce.
Ooh.
And it's just, I dream about it. I do. I dream about it. Every now and then I'll just call up Heyman and go, let's go to Vito's. You got to go to Vito's.
I love it.
got to get that.
Did you ever go to Medeo's when the Italian place, it was underground here in LA?
Medeo's.
It was legendary. And they moved it because they put a parking garage over
Oh,
it.
Medeo's.
Oh,
It changed.
I know.
I don't like the new
The new ones,
Medeo's.
I know.
No, it's not good.
this was a legendary place. It
Yes.
was under the building. You had to go down the stairs.
Yes.
But it
so
was
good.
so good. And they made everybody feel important. And like I had just gotten here and there was like Scorsese over there. Or
Yeah.
I mean, it was just insane.
Yeah, the food
The
there
food was so good.
amazing. It's amazing what a change of location can do to a place.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's the same with clubs, like comedy clubs. It's like the comic strip will always work. That room is just, it's just, this comedy cellar is just like, and then other places, they can't get going.
No.
They move locations.
Yeah.
There's
That's
something in
why-
the bones of the place.
Yeah. Did you work the Improv in New York, right?
No.
No.
No, Catch and the Improv
Oh, okay.
were gone.
Because I'm very sad, excuse me, that they didn't hold on to the Improv
Right.
the way it was. Because what a piece of history.
Yeah.
Before it was a comedy club, it was a place where Broadway stars just did their own thing. They get Bette Midler get up and sing a song.
Yeah.
And it was the perfect comedy room because it was a little box.
Yeah.
Box of laughs.
Yeah.
And I always feel, and the great pictures on the wall. I'm always very sad
Is
that
the building still there? Do you know?
the building's there, but it's an Italian restaurant, and I can't even go in. I'd break out in tears.
Oh, imagine though if it's like the bones are there, we could get
Yeah.
it back.
I don't know. The
Do
dream
they
is
know you're an
over.
award winner?
Walk in. Hello, I'm Carol Leifer, award winner.
Oh, this is good. This one I wanted to ask because something you said years ago is still bangs around in my head.
Really?
We were at a party,
Okay.
a New Year's Eve party at the Seinfelds.
Yes.
You remember this? And
I don't. I remember the party.
And it was getting late, and it turned into comedians and Broadway people.
Okay.
They were doing karaoke and
Karaoke,
like Nathan
I remember
Lane
that,
and
yes.
Broderick and all these
Big
great
stars.
people were like singing, and all the comics got very small, and we're like, I think we may have to leave. And then they started dancing, and you said to me, Tom, do you dance? And I said, I don't know. You said, you look like you've never danced before. And I think about that all the time.
And you know what? I would say the same thing. If we went to a party tomorrow, I would ask you the same two questions.
I'm always like, why Why do I look like I don't dance?
You know what? In a weird way, I think it's a compliment.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Just because guys are usually bad dancers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should not get out there.
No. I like Obama talked about you get a certain age, just do the dad thing. No more getting out there and really going for it. Just kind of keep it in here.
Yeah.
Just keep it in here.
Little twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, even what Trump does.
Yeah.
Just mimic that. Yeah. That's his dancing. All right.
Yeah. Can you dance?
I like to think I'm a very good dancer.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
I love getting out there.
That's impressive.
I don't know if I did that night because, Baryshnikov is there.
That was a crazy one. There was a lot of talent in that room.
Yes.
And they were getting up and doing Nathan Lane, like belting out karaoke.
I know.
With Matthew Broderick.
Right.
So we're standing there with Mario Joyner, like,
Yeah.
I guess we should go home now, right?
I know. How am I going to sing Call Me by Blondie with these people there?
What's your favorite thing to put ketchup on?
Oh.
Do you like ketchup?
I do like ketchup, but my wife, I used to love it on French fries. Mm-hmm. But my wife got me into, she got me into ranch dressing, dipping in ranch dressing.
Mm-hmm.
So the ketchup went away.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, I would say on a burger, but I'm vegetarian, so I have Beyond Burgers.
Right.
And they're not good on Beyond Burgers.
My wife's vegetarian.
Yeah.
And my kids. And
and the kids.
yeah. And I was making burgers the other night. And we would go with Morningstar most of the time.
Uh-huh.
They didn't have them. I'm noticing they're not a lot of places anymore. Prager's, do you like the Prager burger?
I just eat the Beyond or Impossible burger.
My wife thinks that those are too meat-like.
Oh, you see, but that's what I like about it.
It turns her off.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, I don't need the experience of feeling like I'm eating meat. I don't like meat.
So she likes Prager's or Morningstar?
Yeah, or just ice cubes, plain ice cubes. How many years did you work on the Oscars?
This past Oscars with Conan hosting was my 11th time.
11th. That's so great.
Yeah.
What I
That's a
love
fun
about
gig.
that is people get that gig
Yeah.
and they know they're going to need help. And they know we got to go with someone who's great at this.
Well, that's a high compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I always love it. People, their biggest misconception I found is that people think that the celebrities aren't involved with their patter, like you just give them a thing and go out and do it.
Yeah.
And that's not true at all. They like to collaborate.
Right.
We also give them the sense that whatever you're not comfortable with will change.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go out there and feel 100% comfortable, because usually they're actors who are not used to being themselves, going
Yeah.
out as themselves, and they're really terrified. So in that way, we really, I love doing it because,
Yeah.
to talk to, I'm blanking on her name, who's in Speed, Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Talk to her on the phone. Hey, that's
She
great.
is, yeah.
Yeah. Other celebs.
Did you ever try and date her? I know you're married and all, but Sandra Bullock.
She's a lovely person. She
She's
is really great.
so special.
Inside and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really
You
love
ever-
doing it. And in the days, because I was lucky enough to write for the team with Billy Crystal.
Right.
And he was very big, like most hosts, going off to the side if something happens. I need a joke for that. I need a joke for what just happened.
Right.
And it was one year that one of the Oscars had been stolen. I don't know if you remember that or
I
not.
remember that.
Yeah, and so Erykah Badu came out to present an award, and she had one of those headdresses that was way up high like this.
Yeah.
And he came back, and he said, "We need something for this." And so I pitched, I think we know where the stolen Oscar went. and he loved it, and he went out and he did it. And it's so thrilling, as you know, to do a joke, and it's 1 billion people hear it.
God.
Yeah, so I've always loved doing it. And I thought Conan this year was incredible.
He really,
Really aced it.
Yeah, he did. And it was like, it's such a weird gig because people are just like, I just hope they survive it. Like, you're right. But then to excel at it is it's pretty unique. He's doing it again, right? Mm-hmm. You doing it again?
I don't know yet.
You get good gifts at the end of that gig, right? Don't
We used to.
Oh, what do you mean?
We used to get the gift basket that the celebrities got in the old days, and it was crazy what was in it.
Really?
Oh, my God. Well, little dumb things like a year's supply of Jelly Bellies. It was the year that Lord of the Rings came out, and they gave us each a trip for 2 to New Zealand and full accommodations.
Jeez.
And Lori and I went. We went, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Jeez. No more?
No more. Somebody ruined it. Some
What?
celebrity gave it to a charity or something, and then they had to vet it and what the tax deduction was, and then it all went away, up in smoke.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, thanks, big celebs.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jeez. So does that make you have to steal things when you're there?
You get a jacket.
Yeah.
Like you normally do.
Whatever.
Free snacks.
We do a thing on this program called an uncomfortable moment.
Okay.
This isn't that uncomfortable, but as a comedian, I feel like you can point out the flaws in somebody and they're okay with it. I don't know if this is a flaw, but you tend to think that I tend to think that you don't have much of an ego, that you're very talented and you continue to work and on stage and off, but I never see you. I never see you.
Really?
I don't see you having like a crazy ego until I saw this picture. And it makes sense that you're at the Oscars. Is this true that you pitched this redesign of the Oscar?
I did.
You did?
I did, yes.
And what did they say?
They're thinking about it. They're considering it. I love that.
It looks great.
It does. It really does.
Do you ever write screenplays?
No.
Now that we realize that this is the one award you don't have.
Well, I'm 1/4 of the EGOT. That's not a big proportion.
Right.
Yeah. Movies don't interest me because they're hard. They're hard to write.
Did you try? You must have.
I've tried a couple of times, but it's too involved, too many chefs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's not my favorite. Half-hour comedy, half hour.
Right.
It's a 30-minute, 30-page script.
Yeah.
A movie with 100, I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think of the elephant in the zoo. I want me to write a screenplay. I'm not interested.
120 pages.
Oh. Right, and the trunk goes up.
I don't want to.
Don't make me, please.
So you win these for hacks. It must be pretty cool to be writing for that show and those characters in that stand-up world.
Yes.
Of a veteran comedian. As you are a veteran comedian.
Right.
I mean, there's very few people that really hit it on the head of like, if I want someone to write this character and know this character.
Yeah.
Who else is out there?
I was very glad when they added me last season. I loved it. I always like to say all great glory to the 3 showrunners because it really is, it's their genius that makes it the hit it is. But I loved adding touches of my journey and what we could possibly give to Deborah Vance.
Yeah.
Because I was there back then when she was there.
Right.
As a character. So it was always fun to pitch them stories, things about
Yeah.
my life as a comic.
Yeah. It's interesting to watch comics pay respect to that show because it's very easy to see when it's not portrayed great.
Yes.
Stand up, and this one has pulled it off.
Yeah. When I first saw the show,
Yeah.
I was amazed because, you know, as a stand-up, when an actor does it, there are little tells that we see that are like, no, you lost me right there.
Yeah.
And Gene Smart is, so far, to me, the only actor I've seen who's really pulled off being a comedian. I mean, you totally buy her delivery, her stage presence. To me, looks like any great comedian.
What do you think is the key? Is it the...
That's such a good question. I don't know. I think it is a little bit of the magic of an actor lining up, matching the role that they've been given.
Right. Yeah,
Magic.
And she really pulls off the, I can make all these people laugh, but there's also an edge in my real life of the,
Yes.
like that thing, that transfer from, and even when she's being mean off stage, there's still like humor in it, like,
Yes.
but it's darker, and then she kind of turns it on when she goes, that thing that we see in comics all the time.
Yeah.
That back and forth, I
And
haven't
that's
seen before.
Great acting.
Yeah, really good. Are you coming back on that?
No. I'm developing a show
Oh, yeah?
for Ms. Valerie Bertinelli, a comedy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I've been busy.
Oh,
with that.
boy. That was a crush.
Really, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And she's still a looker.
Does she ask about me?
I'll ask her.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, she's lovely, which is
Yeah.
great because you don't want to hook up. I think that's my phone. Yeah. You want to, especially when you're pitching a show, you want an actor who's like, I'm in on the pitches. I'll be there.
Yeah.
You know, open to ideas. She's lovely.
Did you go to her? Did she come to you?
It's a little bit of both
Yeah.
because we're both with the same agency.
Oh, nice.
So you know how they want to
Yeah.
make that shidduch. If I could use one of my Jewish Yiddish words. Yeah.
Man. So no screenplay, maybe a play? What about play?
Play would be interesting.
Yeah.
Play would be interesting. I don't know. I really do like writing books. Yeah, that's fun because you get to go out. Like when I do my gigs, like a corporate, they'll buy some books.
Yeah.
You know, you get to do book festivals.
It is great.
It's just fun to have. It's kind of like, I always loved selling Girl Scout cookies when I was a kid. It's just kind of like that. You go out, you know, call myself Wilma Loman, go out on the road.
It's great when people come up, ask you to sign the books that they've read already.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, they carried this around and you made
Right.
them laugh without even being anywhere near them.
Yes.
It's a pretty great thing. Do you have a routine? What's your routine about writing when you have a book project? Are you strict about it?
I'm pretty strict because this
Yeah.
one, they only gave us a 6-month,
Oh wow.
window. So
That's
it
quick.
was fun, especially having a partner this time. You write something, you know, you send it to the partner, back and forth. It just gets better and better.
Yeah. I've never written with somebody else that way. I don't think I'd like it. Do you like it?
I did like
Yeah.
it. I did like it a lot. He's a really, really funny writer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sections where I was like, I'm out.
Right.
He could he could step in and do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. You really think I can't dance?
I don't know. I have faith in you that whatever you put your mind to, Tom Papa, you can do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask this question. I was going back and forth on whether to ask the question, but I'm going to ask it
All right.
because I'm interested in it. It can be kind of corny, and I don't want to repeat like what other people ask and that kind of thing. But you've had this journey from when the Improv, Catch a Rising Star, like these clubs are just emerging. Like
Yes.
this is the beginning of the flowering of stand-up comedy.
Yes.
And you work consistently the entire time, and you've had great success. and have a whole life in comedy. Being a woman in that journey, was it more challenging then than what you observe now? Did you not see it as a challenge and you just kind of...
I didn't really see it as a challenge, but the fact that there, women comedians, there are a million of them, that it's not unusual. It was unusual back in my day because there were so many intros that were like, and now we're going to have a lady comic.
Yeah.
It was really kind of the exception to the rule. Let's hear what the lady has to say, what her views are on things. So in that way, and they wouldn't put us up following each other. I don't know if you knew that.
Even on another show, right? On the same show.
So I remember, standing at the bar at Catch, Rita Rudner across the way, looking at each other like, shrugging our shoulders. What are you going to do?
Right.
And that's why I also encourage young people to not fight a lot of things. Things will change on their own. I think if we were rabble-rousers, whoever the female comedian was with beside me, we want to go on after it. It just wouldn't have played well. And it would have been like, they're a pain in the ass. I don't want to put them on the show. Right. You just have to kind of sometimes wait it out. I knew that things would get better. And once there were more and more women, it just didn't become, the abnormal thing of let's hear from the ventriloquist now.
Right. Yeah. Were your peers, like the other comics and writers on the scene, were they always supportive?
Always.
That wasn't the thing.
Yes. No, it was never, and I'm sure you found that too. I'm assuming, people always assume comics were backbiting, coming up. I always found, and especially I think being female and being in the minority, so supportive and very welcoming. Never felt they were like, ugh.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. From within the community, it always
was great.
Always seems very supportive.
Yes.
It really just comes down to, are they funny?
Yeah.
Like people will kind of, shy away from someone who's not funny because it's uncomfortable. But remember, it doesn't matter what they are.
And I think they always respected the fact, and this was always important to me, I didn't want to go up there and be like, am I right, ladies? Doing jokes like that was just geared towards the women. I wanted to do material, and a lot of material that anybody could do.
Yeah, it was universal.
Yeah.
Right. It's really kind of interesting. I don't think people, because everybody has a struggle. Everybody has a struggle, and everybody thinks whatever they are is the reason that it's not happening.
Yeah.
Right? We all have our own thing of why we are awful.
Yeah.
And why you're not getting something or whatever.
Right.
But the culture has changed so much.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I used to know pretty much every comedian that was around.
Right.
And they were either in California or New York.
Yeah.
But I knew there were probably 8 women comics then. I mean, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. And I knew even on the West Coast, there was Lois Bromfeld, Lotus Weinstock.
That's it.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Yeah.
And now, 1 million people.
1 million people.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many. It really is. And it just keeps coming.
It does. But, I really admire the fact that you can, keep going. And these specials, one after another. It's just...
What made you so resilient? Because very few people have a career in comedy this long.
I think because I learned a long time ago, you have to let a lot of shit roll off your back. Mm-hmm. There's, so much rejection or hardships or periods where it's just nothing's happening, and you just have to have this not only belief in yourself that you can get over it, but, bad things happen to good comedians. And, you didn't get this gig, or this happened, or you really wanted this show to do great and it didn't. You just have to let it know that it's part of the process.
Right.
Having these peaks and valleys.
Right.
Right? Don't you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think of it rather than peaks and valleys as a big wheel.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
Yes, yes.
and you're like, oh, we're in one of these.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it starts to come around again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think of Lisa Ann Walter a lot.
Yeah.
How, you know,
Yeah.
how she's hung in there all these years. She's so talented.
So funny.
And then she gets on this hit show.
Yeah.
The wheel stopped at Abbott Elementary.
Yeah.
And not just stopped there, she's great in it.
She's a fantastic.
Yeah.
I remember watching, I was like, wait, that Lisa Ann
Yes,
Walter?
yes.
Like, she would just kill in the club. And She was
Yes.
so funny.
Right.
And then,
I always saw her out there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, gets a little quiet, or you just see doing stand up, and then boom, it's just a star.
Impressive.
Yeah, and
Yes.
really impressive. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just got to hang in there.
Right.
Amazing.
What else? As the elephant, what else are you going to do?
Right, exactly. You can't shift at this
You
point.
can't. No.
You just got to wait it
Okay,
out.
I'm here for the long run.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, I had so much fun.
Take the bread. Can I keep the book?
Of course. Yes.
Because I hear you
Please.
can't get them anymore.
You can't get it anymore. Except Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, except
So
everywhere
you
else
really
want to
made
get.
this bread.
Yes.
I'm so impressed. I'm going to take it home and we're going to have it for dinner.
Nice.
Yes.
All right. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here.
I loved it.
You're special. We got it, kids.